Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you are returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So obviously we are back in the Skipper test kitchen today. So I'm going to be trying to make Jack Jack's Num Num cookies. I always love chocolate chip cookies. It's like a food group to me. So I saw that Disney Food Blog had the recipe for this on there. I think they actually posted it in like December, but I want to try it now. So I've never actually had Jack Jack's cookies at Disney. So I don't know how close these are going to be, but they're going to be chocolate chip cookies, so that's good enough for me. So we need to start off with 2 sticks of butter, as any good self-respecting cookie does. And we are actually going to brown the butter. So I'm not entirely sure I've ever actually browned butter. We're going to see how that goes. I guess you just put it in the pan, let it melt, let it brown, and then you let it solidify like a little bit. So got my pan on nice and warm here, and we will just add our 2 sticks of butter. Let's get this going. Alright, so we're all melted. Hi Beanie, can you not get hot butter on you please? Looks like we got a nice little caramel color. We got some yummy bits around the edges. I think that is good. So now we need to take it off the heat and let it cool until it starts to solidify. We're going to let her sit there for a second, and we'll come back when she has started to solidify. I let this sit for about 30 minutes or so. I took it out of the pot, or out of the pan, because that's really hot. I wanted it to cool a little faster because I would like to have cookies sometime this year. So I went ahead and poured it into my mixing bowl, and to that now we're going to add our sugar and our salt. So we need a teaspoon, which seems like a lot of salt to me, but we're going to put a teaspoon of salt in. And it calls for sea salt. I'm using just regular old salt. So we're going to see how that goes. And then you need 1.25 cups of brown sugar. So there's 1 cup packed, and then 1/4 cup, and then 1/4 cup of regular old white granulated sugar. Add that in there. And then cream these together, so we'll get our mix on. It says to beat it or cream it until it is light and fluffy. Mine looks more like sand. Like, you see that? Stop focusing on it. Like, it looks like sand. I don't know if I didn't let it cool enough. I mean, it was starting to solidify. It was looking kind of like a jello, like gelatin kind of consistency. So to me, that's starting to solidify. We're gonna go with what we got here, and we're gonna proceed, and hopefully a cookie will come out of this. Hi, Future Megan here. You may notice that I have changed clothes. So I went through the whole Jack Jack cookie recipe, and you remember when I said maybe this is good? I'm not sure what browning butter really is. I definitely did not know what browning butter was. So I'm restarting, because let me insert a picture here of what the cookies look like. Those are cooked. Those are completed cookies. They look like dough balls. They tasted fine, but they did not come out correctly. They were not actual Jack Jack Num Num cookies. So we're gonna try this again. So I got my butter, got everything reset. We're gonna redo this recipe now. So here we go. Don't get too close. No furry cookies and no burnt paws, please. So we're gonna call that good. So let's turn the burner off. You see the nuttiness down in there. It's very dark down in the bottom. I don't know if you can tell on camera. It's nice and dark down there. So what we're gonna do now is immediately, ooh, that is bright behind me. You're gonna immediately pour this into a separate container. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it straight into my mixing bowl, so it can cool. Make sure you get all your caramelized bits. Scrape all that in there. And then let this cool for a heck of a lot longer than 30 minutes. We will see how long it takes for this to actually start to solidify, more than I thought we needed last time. So we'll see what that actually takes. Okay, so we let it sit for a couple of hours and it got to where the butter was kind of like a spreadable consistency. So it kind of is like, you know, if you got just like not real butter, that's what it is kind of looking like. So now I am going to just clean off my spatula here, scrapey scrape scrape, and we're going to go on with the rest of the ingredients. There's the teaspoon of salt, which I still maintain sounds like a lot, but I like saltiness in my cookies, so that's totally fine with me. So, you know, just ye old iodized salt is what we're using there. Go ahead and pour that in, and then for some reason it takes me forever and a half to get brown sugar packed. I don't know why I didn't just do that ahead of time so that y'all didn't have to watch me do it, but here we are. I am just brown sugar, brown sugar, brown sugar. You need 1.25 cups of that, so I'm taking my sweet time. Make a bigger hole next time, Meg. How about that? Try that out. And go ahead and get that packed in there. And then 1/4 cup of regular white granulated sugar. So this is where we got to last time. And you may remember that after this, oh, nice. Way to go, Meg. Just pour it out everywhere. Good job. A little extra sugar never hurt anything. So that's what we're rocking with. Let's see if this gets a little smoother than last time. Okay, so that's looking a lot more like actual batter. It's light and fluffy like it says it's supposed to be. Megan, get out your spatula, demonstrate. Ah, yes, light, fluffy, so light. Yes, good. All right, so now we're moving on. We're going to add the eggs. It needs 1 whole egg and then 1 egg yolk. So I'm using the technique that everyone on the Food Network always tells you to do, and crack it into a separate container first just to make sure that you don't get any of the nastiness. I mean, usually they're doing that when you need just the whites and not the yolk, but, you know, whatever. I separate this out here. Lots of goop. Gross. Bleh. So get that yolk in there. Yep, we see it, Meg. Go ahead. Dump it in. Dump it in. That's a yolk. Yep, there we go. Okay, so you get the 1 egg yolk and then the 1 whole egg. Just go ahead and crack that puppy in there. Good. And now go wash your hands, Megan. So now we need to add the vanilla. You need a teaspoon of vanilla. Just pour that right on in. And then the next thing, yeah, okay, cap it. There we go. Yes, vanilla. Very good. Then we're gonna go ahead and mix that up. Moving on to the baking soda and the flour, the dry ingredients. I know that you are technically supposed to mix these together and then add them as one cohesive thing later on. I never do that because why would I follow instructions? So you need to add a teaspoon of baking soda and then 2¼ cups of flour, which I am speeding up because it takes me about 3 years to pour flour in. Also, I definitely have canisters to hold my flour in. I am just not using them for some reason. We're just going to roll with the bag.
So there is our dough, which definitely looks a lot more like actual dough. Now we add the chocolate chips. I really like Ghirardelli chocolate chips, as you can see. Those are my favorites. That's what I always put in my cookies. So it says to add a cup of those. So I'm just taking the bag and kind of eyeballing it halfway and saying that that's going to be about good. Dump that in there and maybe a few more, just for good measure. Yeah, that's good. And behold, cookie dough. Yeah. So you are supposed to then chill this. They say in the recipe to scoop it into balls and then chill it for at least an hour, but preferably overnight. I do not have a freezer or a fridge big enough to scoop all of this into balls and then leave it on a cookie tray. I am just going to chill this in the container, and so we will go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and see what we got. Alright, so it is the next afternoon, and I am going to get these cookies baking. I like to use parchment paper to line my trays, so got that laid out. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees, so I'm just using my little ice cream cookie dough scoop to scoop out the cookies and get them laid out on here. As you can tell, that if I had gone ahead and chilled them when they were easier to scoop, that probably would have gone better because they're a little crumbly right now. But just get those guys all spread out, and then we will pop them in the oven. So these need to cook for 7 to 10 minutes, and I'm just gonna start them off at like 8 minutes, and then we'll check them, see how that goes. Excuse you, Sashi, can you move? Thank you. We will put those on in carefully, Megan. There you go. All right. Let's hope that these turn out a little better than last time. Let's go ahead and close those in. Yeah, there's 350. And we're going to start it off at 8 minutes, and we will see what we need to add after that. So it ended up being about 5 extra minutes. So we cooked them for about 13 to 14 minutes just to get them as done as I wanted them. And that's what they turned out like.
It's time to try. Here we go. I want to try this one because it looks the most like a real cookie. Still warm. Let's see if we can set it down so we can do the. It's hot. Definitely better than the last time we made them. These have the consistency of an actual cookie, not sand. That's what the last one. I mean, they tasted good the first time too. They just literally were. They looked like uncooked cookies, and they had the consistency of like sand. So these actually hold together in a cookie-like shape. Now, whether or not this is what the cookies taste like at the parks, no idea. It's got a good like saltiness to it. I don't know if that. I don't think it's from the butter. We use unsalted butter. It's got like a teaspoon of salt in the whole recipe. We made 2 dozen cookies with that recipe, but I don't know. It's got the nuttiness from the butter, the brown butter, and it's a little salty, and I'm never mad about chocolate chips anyway, so I mean, it's a chocolate chip cookie, so try it if you want. Have you made these before? Did they look like that, or did they look more like that? I had to try some different things. This was just using a cookie dough baller and scooping them out, and they just kind of crumbled apart. But then these, I used my hands and kind of made little actual balls and then flattened them out. Those seem to have cooked a little bit more evenly. Have you made these? Did they turn out correctly? Did they turn out like little crumbly balls of deliciousness for you too? Let me know. And if you are a baker and you know like why mine did this, let me know that too, so I can maybe try them again sometime. But yeah, overall, not too bad. Chocolate chip cookies are always a 10 out of 10. So let me know if y'all try these. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.